Snail. Now it's appropriate to take a forward fold after saddle. That big, giant back arch demands a camel pose. However, if snail's not your bag because you have cervical neck mischief, then possibly just a simple forward fold like a Paschimottanasana, okay, letting yourself round over, okay? Or even simpler than that, even more gentle than that, would be to simply stay supine from the last clip and let one knee come in, stretching that for about 2.5 minutes, and then switching and letting the other knee come in, okay? Snail demands a huge amount in the low back, mid-back, through the upper neck. Now, I put some interest in not putting weight on the neck, but it's somewhat inevitable. Okay. In my way towards snail, I like to warm up with just a little bit of an abdominal, letting the legs lift, okay? Letting the hands extend towards, away from my shoulders. Inhale here, exhale, curl up. Now with my chin coming in towards my chest and my navel coming back to my spine, letting a happen. In some ways I'm mimicking that snail. Snail is kind of the yin version of plow pose. Okay? From here then I can get a little bit more in there by letting the hands come down to the earth, letting my head come back to the earth, letting my hips lift just a little bit, pause in the suspension here. You're working the belly a little bit and you're letting your sacrum fill. Okay, one more time. Letting it roll forward, letting the arms wiggle forward. There's a little abdominal happening. I'm letting a little bit of a and then letting the hands come down and letting the legs lift. Now, on your way towards snail, if the feet don't want to find the floor today, you could put these toes on a wall behind you. That might be a nice version. Or if you had a small stool or maybe a few bolsters, you could rest your shin. That would provide you a really nice big stretch, okay, through the low back without asking too much of your neck. If it's appropriate, okay, and really wait for those signs. I'm going to start the timer. Then maybe letting those feet find their way behind you. Now notice, okay, I'm going to wiggle my shoulders under just a little bit, just enough to kind of, allow me to soften my cervical spine. But I'm not rolling my shoulders under as dramatically as, say, Halasana plow. Okay, and I'm allowing my back to be a little bit more rounded than in sort of a classic photo of plow. Okay, but I'm a country girl, and so things are kind of casual around here in Ojai. If you live in a big city, you might be more compelled to pull those hip bones up. I'm kidding. I'm going to adjust my yoga costume here. The yoga dress is my fave, but in poses like this, it can be a little silly. Okay. This might be the spot. But lately, I like to bend my knees, let my knees kind of fall down around my ears, so sort of a country casual version of Karnipidasana. And then I like to bring my arms back and let my arms rest on my calves, lower calf area, and catch a hold of my heels. Okay, this action, I have a feeling that it's sounding funny in the microphone. This action, okay, helps weight my legs, and as it weights my legs, I can kind of relax into my sacrum, and I kind of let my sacrum get heavy so it feels a bit like a hammock there. Let it happen. Okay, relaxing the jaw, and relaxing the temples and the tongue. Like notice, I really have most of my weight across my shoulders. There's just not that much weight on my neck, but it is stretching. Okay, so it has to be okay for that to be good for you. By this time in the yin practice, the breath has gotten easier. You're feeling softer. Okay, the mind is naturally quiet. If at any time during this shape you can tell that it's no longer appropriate for you to be here, like for example, if your fingers start to go numb, before your fingers go numb, roll yourself out. Okay, maybe take an easy forward fold or be done with it. It's hard for me to stretch my back. The way I'm put together, my pelvis moves so far forward that my hamstrings will do all the work all the time. And so I'm so delighted with the yin version of plow pose because I can get into my low back and my sacrum in a way that's more difficult than other postures. Then, it's probably about 4 minutes. When you feel cooked, you just slowly, like I like to keep my knees bent as I do this. You know, as I come out of that, I get like this, I really like the feeling of that. If you know it's bad, let me know, but I love the feeling of that warmth that I get around my neck. It feels really nice. And so then, slowly, like keeping the knees bent to keep it easy on the low back. Okay, slow, bringing the feet down to the earth. That was more like 5 minutes, actually. So palms down, feet to the floor. Take a moment, let it feel easy. Again, it's always important in these postures to really sense, was that good for me? Okay, if your back's still feeling tender, keep the knees bent. Otherwise, it can feel interesting to draw the legs towards straight. Let the legs relax and just notice how that feels. Today, that doesn't feel good for me. Usually that does. Okay, but today that's putting too much strain on my low back. It just feels better to keep my knees a little bent and even let them fall together. Nice. See you in the next clip for a spinal twist.